Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to the Mixer. Hey, y'all missed the Mixer, huh? I know y'all been missing the Mixer. It's been a while. This is the first Mixer of 2022, you know. Coming back from my hiatus from YouTube, you know, the segment on this channel where I give you guys cool information about things around the world, cultures and whatnot, you know. And today's video is a remake of one that I've done a long time ago, but I hated the way it came out. I just didn't really, I wasn't feeling it that day. I didn't like the way I recorded and edited and relayed the information. So I told myself that one day I'm going to redo that video, and here it is, baby. I'm going to be talking about the legendary Chinese Terracotta army, you know. I don't know if it's pronounced Terracotta or Terracotta, but I'm going to say Terracotta because it sounds more American. It just rolls off the tongue better, you know. So yeah, guys, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, you know, and it's a series of terracotta sculptures depicting the armies of Qin Shi Huang, who was the very first emperor of China, you know, and these sculptures were buried with him around the year 210 to 209 BCE, you know. It's a form of funerary art, you know, and apparently it was supposed to protect him in his afterlife, you know, which I honestly think failed miserably. It failed hard because today it's one of the most visited, you know, tourist attractions in the world. It's one of the few tourist points that, like the RMS Titanic, can draw attention based on the name alone, you know. So many people have gone to it every year, so I really don't think that the army is doing a good job of protecting the emperor at this point, you know. But it's actually really interesting because there are so many sculptures down there, you know. There are 3 main pits containing the terracotta army, and it is estimated to have about 8,000 sculptures in total, you know, which include 130 chariots, you know, which are included 520 freaking horses, you know. There are also horse sculptures, not just soldiers, you know, and 150 cavalry horses specifically. What the hell the difference is, I don't know. To me, they're all horses. I don't really know what the difference could be there, you know, but nah. And the vast majority are all married, you know, within the mausoleum, you know. And as the years have gone by, the government has sort of protected it more and preserved it and sort of turned it into a bit of a mausoleum of sorts, like a museum, a national place where people can go, you know. And there are also other types of sculptures in the pits, like officials, acrobats, strongmen, musicians, you know. So they're not all soldiers. It is a very vast army, you know, that really had a lot of different soldiers, you know, infantry, and they are all organized according to their military rank and their importance, you know. I'm gonna get to that in a bit. And it's actually really funny because the army itself was discovered back in March of 1974, and it's actually really cool how it happened because a group of farmers found it by accident. By the way, this group of farmers, 6 of them were brothers. Holy freaking crap, people really procreated back then, huh? And their neighbor, they actually were digging a well a few miles southeast of where the tomb actually was, you know. And sorry, not southeast, a few kilometers east of the where the actual tomb was, you know. And then it was in a place, an entire region riddled with underground, you know, springs and water courses, you know, around the region of Mount Lishan, I believe, Mount Li, which also is known as Mount Lishan, you know, that kind of thing there. And then they just happened to come across it, you know, and I have the little cheat sheet here, you know. They have found different kinds of fragments around the area, you know, in the necropolis, like roofing tiles, bricks, and chunks of masonry, you know. And then eventually the Chinese archaeologists went to investigate to see what the hell was going on, why all of these pieces of pottery were popping up all over the place, you know. And then eventually the army was discovered, and since then a mausoleum complex has been constructed over the area with a roof structure, you know. So it's a very well protected tourist attraction, you know. And like I said before, the emperor is definitely rolling in his grave, man. The army was supposed to protect him, and the army is just letting a bunch of people walk in there every year and take photos and stuff, you know. So yeah, it's gonna incur his wrath there. Yo, Wendy Wu, homecoming warrior, terracotta, pop, pop, pop thing, you know. But anyway, let's take a look at some photos of the sculptures right now, eh? Come on. You gotta admit that's awesome. Even if you're not a history buff, you gotta admit that is some cool stuff right there, man. And now I'm gonna talk about the actual figures themselves, you know. They actually vary in height, you know, and usually they can range from about like 175 to 200 centimeters, you know, which would be around like maybe 5'7", 5'6" feet tall, you know. And the officers are actually a lot taller than that, you know, by comparison. And they also vary in height according to they actually vary in height, uniform, hairstyle, you know, accordance with their rank. Their faces are different for each individual, but scholars have identified 10 basic shapes, you know, 10 different molds. And it's kind of funny because we're talking about 8,000 sculptures, man. Imagine how long it took to sculpt a different face for each one of them, even if there are 10 basic shapes, you know. Imagine going through each one and sculpting a different face, man. Y'all, I understand that there was no Netflix back then, no internet connection, no, but you guys really did nothing. So then, you know, all in through, there are actually a few different tidbits of info as well. There are some different types of figures here that I'm going to list off, you know, and give a little bit of time for the text to show up. So we have armored infantry, okay? And then there's the opposite, unarmored infantry. Very nice. Cavalrymen with pillbox hats, okay? There are helmeted chariot drivers, you know, who have a little bit more armor protection. And then there are spear-carrying charioteers. You know, very nice and fancy there. Kneeling armored crossbowmen. Good lord. Hey, and standing unarmored crossbowmen. Wait a second, so they don't have armor. What if they take an arrow to the chest? Why aren't they armored? That doesn't really seem fair. And then there are also generals and other lower ranking officials and whatnot, you know. And some of them have different variations in the uniform. Some of them wear shin pads, others don't. Some wear, you know, long or short trousers, padded or non-padded, you know. But it all depends on rank, formation, function, what they do in the army, you know, and that what. There are also a lot of horses placed in there, and they were actually constructed, you know, they were manufactured in workshops, you know, by government laborers and local craftsmen, you know, and some of the pieces were actually made individually, so legs, arms, and torsos, you know, heads, they were all made separately, and then they were ludded together, you know, in a process that was very alchemic back at the time. I know it was very rudimentary, you know, so then they were all assembled together. When they were completed, they were put in the pits according to precise military rank and duty, you know, everything that they did there. The faces were created using molds, you know, with clay and that kind of thing. You know, I have my little cheat sheet here showing all of this. You know, it's freaking awesome, man. I'm looking at the photos here, you know, and these things are really cool. I'm looking at a sword, a helmet, you know, and some little grass plate. So back in the day, they actually had real actual weapons fastened onto the figurines, you know. But then of course, as the years went by, people went by to loot them, you know, so they took the weapons because they were valuable, you know. But since then, I think about 40,000 pieces of weaponry has been recovered, you know, but I think the majority were all just bronze, you know. We're talking about like swords, daggers, spears, lancers, you know, that lances, battle axes, scimitars, shields, crossbows, and triggers, you know, that kind of thing. All of those were recovered, but of course the bronze ones they're not really that valuable, but you know. So let's take a look at something else here, maybe some more photos or even a clip or something if I can find it on the internet.
It's a vast pottery army which is slowly being unearthed from the tomb where it's lain for more than 2,000 years. At one time, when a Chinese ruler died,
You know, a really cool tidbit of info regarding the weaponry, some of the weapons were coated with a very thin layer. We're talking like 10 to 15 micrometers or so, you know, of chromium dioxide before burial, so it really helped to preserve them from decay over the last 2,000 or so years. So when they were found, and the majority were arrowheads, which were bunched up in like 100 each unit, you know, they were actually surprisingly well preserved because of this process, you know. And you know, decay is going to happen no matter what, you know, but I think that the army is actually really well preserved, you know. And the swords contain an alloy of copper, tin, and other elements, you know, which actually helps a lot with preservation. Also nickel, magnesium, cobalt, you know, that kind of thing. And you know, some of them carry inscriptions that date before their manufacture, you know, so they were probably used before they were buried, you know, that's why they were real. So I think it's a really cool thing. I would love to go and visit this terracotta army, but then again, I'm a little afraid because it's completely underground in a place where I'm not sure they have air conditioning installed, so it might be hot and stuffy. Ronald Reagan and his the first lady went there in the 80s, you know. There's a photo of them there, but I would probably be really scared because it's probably dead silent in there. I don't think you're gonna hear polka music playing somewhere in the background or something, you know. And honestly, how has there never been a horror movie, you know, with the terracotta army in China? Like, I think that this is a missed opportunity for Hollywood here, man. I mean, try to imagine everything that I just described. You go in there, like, let's make it into like a, I don't know, as above, so below format where you get lost in there, you know. It's a labyrinth of thousands of soldiers, you know, and then it's dark and silent, you know, and then you're just wandering around trying to find your way out. And then, you know, as you're walking, you know, you walk past one, and then, you know, one of the statues just like, I mean, hey, I honestly think it would make for a really good screenplay, you know. I think, like, if Hollywood ever makes a horror movie, you know, that happens in the mausoleum of the terracotta army, you heard it here first. I will patent it, you know. I want a nickel every time somebody even mentions it, you know. It's my idea, and you heard it here first, guys. So if it ever gets traction, spread the word, you know. This is the first that you heard of that movie. I think it would be really nice. The movie could be called just like Terracotta, huh? Imagine that. Oh man, that'd be really cool. That'd be nice, man. A horror movie down there would just be perfect. I'm surprised nobody ever thought of it. As far as I know, I don't think there's been a movie in that. They've done one in the Paris catacombs, you know, with all the skulls and stuff, you know. So yeah. But yeah, guys, I think that's all I can say about this. You know, I've given you enough information to last for a while. You know, don't know how long the video is gonna get, but probably a little over 10 minutes. And if it seems like I'm talking fast and rushing, I'm sorry. You know, that's not the intention. You know, it's because I have the habit. People have been telling me in the comments of other videos that I shouldn't speak so fast, but it's just, it just comes naturally to me. It's like Ryan Higa. You just turn on the camera and just go quickly, you know. So, but I'm gonna try to work on it, talk a little bit slower, you know. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this remake, you know. And it's not the first time that I've done this remake. I've tried many times but failed. So I guess I kind of memorized some of the information, you know, because of that. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this. If you happen to like this video, if you learned something new, please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, you really should also hit the notification bell to know exactly what time I upload, eh? New videos every single day, baby. And that's it for now. Beware the terracotta. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.